I'm golf broadcaster Brian Hammonds. In this video series, we're going to give you some tips on how to improve your pace of play. There's really no need for a 5 or 6 hour round of golf. We're going to focus our attention on 4 different areas: golf course awareness, pre-shot routine, putting green, and equipment management. The goal is to help you improve your pace of play while still maintaining proper golf etiquette. The first key to improving pace of play is golf course awareness, which is simply understanding situations and being ready to play. Players should stand on or near the tee box behind the player, or off to the side or just out of their sight, but where they can still see the tee shot. On the tee box, as the first player prepares to play, now the other players in the group should grab the club that they intend to play off the tee and have their golf ball and tee in hand. As soon as the first player plays their tee shot, the next player should begin to walk towards the teeing area, tee their ball up, and begin their routine. Each subsequent player should do the same until the entire group is teed off. As you leave the tee, you should begin to walk in the general direction of your tee shot and not as a group in the direction of the first player to hit. Players are encouraged to be social if you would like, but you still need to be moving in the direction of your tee shot. Now here's one of the biggest ways you can save time. Don't stop at the first ball. It's okay to walk all the way to the location of your golf ball as long as you're not in the line of play, and you can determine that on your way to your golf ball. If you are in their line, get to your ball, but just stand to the side so you won't be in their way. Once you get to your ball, go ahead and prepare for your shot as long as it's not a distraction to the one that is playing theirs. Things you can do in this time include taking out your rangefinder and figuring out your distance to the hole, check the wind, and pull a club. As soon as the player before you plays their shot, you should already know your yardage, you should know the wind direction, you should have your club in your hand, then just go through your routine and play your shot. Now at times, it may be best for a player who is not farthest from the hole to play first. As players get to their golf balls, they should evaluate the situation and communicate with each other what the best order of play just might be. Just because a player is out doesn't mean that they should always play first. Now, one situation where this can be used is if the player who is out is waiting on the green to clear. Another player in the group might be further ahead but may not have a shot to the green. They may have to punch out or something like that. So in that case, that player can go ahead and play ahead of the player who's farthest away from the hole. Another situation could be a par 5, where one player might be able to reach the green in 2, but players closer to the hole may prefer to lay up. Now in that case, the player or players laying up should go ahead and play their shots and then begin moving toward their ball while staying out of the way of the player that's going to try to hit the green in 2. Another example might be if a player is taking relief or determining the best way to proceed under the rules of golf. It is best for another player or players to go ahead and play their shot while they go through that procedure. Additionally, if a player is in need of a ruling and a rules official is present, there's no reason for players to stand around and wait on that ruling. The other players in the group should go ahead and move toward their next shots, or in some situations, play the remainder of the hole and allow the official to get the other player caught back up. And while we're on the subject of rules, if you have a question about a ruling or how to handle it, it's okay to play a second ball for that hole. Record the score of both balls, and then once you catch up with a rules official or a coach, then you can decide which score will count on your card. The next thing we're going to look at is your pre-shot routine. Now, what is a pre-shot routine? It's everything you do prior to hitting your golf shot. We encourage you to do all of that before it's your turn. Here's an example of a player who's ready to play when it's their turn and one who is not. First, let's see some keys to a player getting through their routine efficiently. This player has walked all the way to their golf ball. They've gotten their yardage and they already know which club they're going to play. As soon as the player before them plays their shot, they've already begun their routine. Once in their routine, the player limits their practice swings and makes sure not to take any divots with the practice swing they do take. The player also steps into the shot one time and limits the time they spend over the ball. Now let's take a look at the amount of time that a player was able to save versus a player who doesn't have an efficient pre-shot routine. Let's take a look at how an efficient pre-shot routine stacks up against an inefficient one over the course of a round. Our efficient player took 27 seconds to play a shot. And although our inefficient player took 57 seconds in the video, the maximum time allowed to play a shot by the rules of golf is 45 seconds. So we will use that number as an example. If those players took that average amount of time over the course of 9 holes and each shot even par rounds of 36, our first player would have a total of 16 minutes and 12 seconds of actual playing time. Our second player would have a total of 27 minutes of playing time. Over the course of 18 holes, those numbers double, with player 1 taking 32 minutes and 24 seconds, and player 2 taking nearly 22 additional minutes for a total of 54 minutes. Now, what can that mean for an entire group of players? If we have a foursome of efficient players averaging 27 seconds per shot and shooting even par, their total time would be just over 2 hours and 9 minutes. Now remember, this does not include time walking between shots or holes or waiting on the group in front of them. As you can see, each inefficient player we add to the group increases the playing time significantly. In the end, if we have a foursome of inefficient players averaging 45 seconds per shot, our total time has increased by over 1 hour and 25 minutes. This is a good example of how much of an impact a single inefficient player can have on their group, and also full groups of efficient players playing behind them. As you can see, if you're ready to play your shot when it's your turn, you can save an awful lot of time over the course of an 18-hole round. If 3 or 4 players in a group waited until after the player before them played to go into their pre-shot routine, that time really adds up over 18 holes. Now let's move to the putting green. With a foursome hitting somewhere between 120 and 150 putts per round, the putting green is a key place to save time. As in many other areas, the more you can do before it's your turn is important. Our first scenario is you're approaching the green. Your ball is behind the hole. Take that opportunity to make your first read before marking your golf ball. On your way to your golf ball, take that opportunity to clear your line if that's necessary, repair any ball marks before anybody putts. Obviously, everybody in your group is going to need to read their putts. You can read your putt at the same time, or while they are putting, as long as you're not a distraction. Now, you've already read your putt, so as soon as the player before you makes contact, your ball should be back on the ground and you should be ready to go. And then you can make your final read as the player before you either picks their ball out of the hole or marks their ball. After you've hit your putt, if you hit it to within a couple of feet, we encourage you to go ahead and finish the hole. Don't mark your ball. As Happy Gilmore might say, just tap it in. Just make sure you tell your playing competitors that you're going to finish. In a few situations, it might be best for a player to go ahead and putt even though they are not farthest from the hole. One of those situations would be when a player in a bunker plays a shot onto the green into a position where they are still farthest from the hole. Now that player has to rake the bunker and then get to their ball, so while you're waiting, there's no need to wait. Go ahead and putt. Another situation would be a player who has chipped the ball over the green or into a position where they are still farthest from the hole. While that player collects their putter or walks to their next shot, the next farthest player from the hole can go ahead and play. In both of those situations, the player should communicate to the other player that they may go ahead and play. Another area where we can really improve pace of play is equipment management. You may not think that where you place your bag is important, but it is. A lot of players waste time on the golf course. After they play a hole, they have to walk back to where their golf bag is. When you get to a green, park your bag or your golf cart between the green and the next tee box. It's a short walk that way. If you're using a push cart like so many players do today, make sure you don't get them on the tee box or the putting green, but park them as close as possible to those areas to save time. After you've placed your bag between the green and the next tee and you're playing a shot where you're not quite sure what club it'll take several clubs with you. That'll save you a trip back to the bag. Then after you play the shot, don't just leave those clubs there. Make sure you take them onto the green with you and then pick them up after you're done playing the hole. I hope these tips will help you improve your pace of play. I think you'll find if you put these tips in play, you're going to play a round of golf a lot faster.